Hello, guys, and welcome back to once again another live stream here on the VB Thomas platform. Today, we will be having an ESRL league race, as it is going to be the Elite Sim Racing League with Season 2, Round 4 in Imola today. As you can hear, I've got a little bit of a sore throat, so my apologies for the sound already. So I hope you guys are going to be enjoying this stream, as it is going to be a short qualifying and a 50% race today. But let's talk about previous race first, as we had TF Mar 10 in P1, the German driver, got at the top of the podium. Then we had BCA CBA, the British driver in P2, and Aces versus Kings in P3. It was on Monza last week, so we haven't changed countries, but we did definitely change tracks, as it is going to be on the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix, well, the Emilia Romagna circuit here in Imola. The population of Italy is 15.8 million people. The track has been, well, the FIA has held races on this track since 1980. And in this league, well, this league hasn't raced in Imola yet, so we don't have any winners yet here in Imola. So that means we also don't have any qualifying time or a fastest lap time. I usually take the, what's it called? The fastest lap in the qualifying from another league, but since it's my first time racing on Imola, well, commentating a league race on Imola, I don't have any time, unfortunately. So let's talk a little bit more about the track layout. Short qualifying and a 50% race, like I already said. The track is going to be 4.9 kilometers, and the race distance will be around 157 kilometers in total. As you can see on the left side of your screen, we're entering turn 12 right now, a very dangerous part of the track, because if someone spins out in turn 12, it's basically a sudden death match. Everyone is just driving in each other and all that kind of stuff. We've got a little bit of a chicane right there, a little bit of a wobbly one. Then always turn one is not always very chaos, but it is very crowdy out there. So turn two, turn three is kind of a stabilizing part of the track where, well, everyone can just to get themselves sorted in their position after a chaotic turn one usually, and then we've got turn five, also a little bit of a chicane. Then turn six is also a very slow track. Yesterday we saw Monaco, and I would say Imola is a little bit of the fast Monaco, if you ask me. If you look at the track, it's kind of similar. It has the similar kind of corners every now and then. So yeah, um, that's what I would compare it with. A little bit of a fast Imola, and we will be looking at the strategy here, as it is going to be a medium hard or a hard medium. It could also be a hard soft or a medium soft. Medium soft. We saw someone pull it off in Australia, and I feel like it's going to be happening in Australia in Imola here too. So the safety car probability is quite high. That's what's making the double stopper, well, the two stopper quite quite good. And the tire degradation rate is about 40 to 45%. Tire overheating probability should be in the green, but I forgot to change that, unfortunately. So my predictions today, gonna have a quick look at the grid. So I'm not too sure. Scott did tell me some fast guys out here, so I might go with Cialda in P1. Then we have Aces versus Kings in P2, and uh, TF Mar in P3. But by the way, I made a little bit of a mistake with the previous race, because it would have been who was it? Cialda in P3. I forgot to change that. So P3 last race was Cialda, the Italian driver, instead of Aces versus Kings. So my apologies for that. Now we will be going straight into the race, as I see that the race has already started. So hopefully we're gonna have a pretty decent Grand Prix here today, because I mean Imola is always a good track to race on. It would be a little bit unfortunate if you guys are not going to be able to put a good show on here today. Um, yeah, I mean I find it usually very frustrating when there's races and they're not very well. So yeah, I really hope these guys are going to be able to put a show on. But well, we will have to wait, as there's first going to be a short qualifying out on track here today. So, our track map and maybe the lap data. I do assume everyone is on the soft tires. And there's a couple of guys out on track already. I think there's only 3 or 4 people in the pit lane still. It's actually 5 people with BCA and Mickey Muzi. Now let's have a quick look as Jack Oleko has already started this lap here, entering turn 1, turn 2, take a lot of curb on the inside. Now into turn 3, you can also take a bit of curb on the inside, but also take some curb on the outside there. Entering turn 5 there, you should take a little bit of curb on the outside, which we didn't see the McLaren driver do, unfortunately. Then entering turn 6, quite a slow corner if you ask me, but it's easy to spin out there as traction is a little bit difficult, but not on this game. I heard the traction control was more doable than on the 2022 game. So yeah, I mean, it's turn 6. I think we will be seeing less incidents that we saw last year, as it looks like Jack Oleko as the fastest first sector and the second sector. So entering sector 3, it's looking very great for the McLaren driver at the moment. That he's now coming around the last couple of corners around this track here. It's going to be turn 17 and 18 of the Emilia Romagna circuit. Now coming across the line as the will have DRS. It will open, but you won't have a lot of benefit from that those last couple of seconds before he comes into, well, across the line. As Sepp Male, or Sepp Male, I'm not 100% sure, is putting a 116.8, so he is about 4 tenths faster than Jack Oleko. Scott puts himself in 117.8. And I do have to say something. These guys are all running cockpit mode, so everyone is racing in the cockpit mode. Basically, that's this, but then from under the halo. I mean, you probably know what I mean. Solo Godzilla will put himself in P1 on the medium tires. What a beast lap that is. The Ferrari driver puts a 116.0, beats Seb Mail with more than 7 tenths here. Especially on the medium tires, that is a very impressive thing to do, as now no Sebo comes across the line and Cialda puts himself in P1 at 115.2 for the Ferrari driver. Also on the mediums, wow, what a crazy thing to do, actually. Imola Grand Prix going on to the medium tires. Well, not the Grand Prix, the qualifying, of course, but that is a crazy time. A 115.2 on the medium tires. I know I did a 113 on the 22 game. But that was on soft tires. I think it was a 113.0 or something. I can't quite remember. But it was a pretty decent time. But I'm pretty sure these guys are going to be able to beat that, of course, because they're extremely fast at the moment. CBA entering sector 3 at the moment as the Ferrari driver lets him go past. And that must be Solo Godzilla, as Cialda is still in sector 2 at the moment. Mar with a 114.9, the Red Bull driver puts himself in a provisional P1, but will that be enough? I'm not 100% sure. We know that CBA is fast due to last race where you got a P2. And will he put himself in the top 3 today? It will be a P3 on the soft tires, so he's not able to beat Cialda here, who is on medium tires. So CBA still has to improve a little bit to be able to get on that front row here in Imola. Aces versus Kings, he invalidated this lap, it seems like, as the Aston Martin driver only put a 124.9 in with his first lap, so he's probably looking to come into the pits and put a new set of soft tires. Maybe the guys on the medium tires want to explore the track a little bit, but of course that's one medium tire set wasted for the race, so we know that the medium tire runners are possibly not going for a medium soft strategy. But all the guys who are now doing their qualifying lap on soft tires might be going for a medium soft, medium. A two-stopper could always work around Imola. And we know that the undercut is quite big. We know that the difference between old tires and new tires is quite big. So, yeah, it's definitely worth a shot going for a two-stopper here on Imola. And I think it's worth on every track, but not everyone can pull it off. If you're fast on old set of tires, you will be able to, like, yeah, pull it off a one-stopper, of course, and you will be faster than the guys who are on a two-stopper, but... Wait, am I not live? Oh yeah, I am. Someone unfollowed me, what is this? Now, driving on board with DCU as the Alpine driver enters this turn 12, a quite dangerous corner, like I said already, because we do tend to see a lot of incidents through that corner, but yeah, I mean, it's worth a shot to make a move into turn 12, but I wouldn't suggest it. DCU now coming across that last turn, coming around that last turn, I must say. He's going to start his qualifying lap. Let's drive on board with Mr. Alpine here. As hopefully he will be able to put a good qualifying lap here. Doesn't touch too much curb on the inside into turn 1, which might have costed him a couple of tenths. Coming around turn 4 and 5. Doesn't take too much curb on the inside. Does take a lot on the outside, so that might give him a good time, or a good sector 1, as it seems like he has the fastest first sector for now. Entering sector 2. This is also a very tricky corner. If you're going side by side through that corner, it might end up bad. Now, this familiar turn 12, as he gets a little bit of the toe of the Ferrari driver, but he doesn't take it. Has the fastest second sector, it seems like. Is DCU gonna put himself in P1? He's got two fastest first sectors. Well, two fastest sectors here already. But of course, the game might be glitched once again. He doesn't take too much. Wait, he took a very interesting line entering turn 17 there. He didn't really go for the outside line. He kind of stayed on the inside as he puts a 117.2. Might have lost a couple of tenths those last couple of corners. Thank you for the follow, Worthy. I don't know how I should pronounce that, sorry. And DC is not going to be pushing, so he's going to be happy with a 117.2, it seems like. But of course, he might still have some time to come into the pits and put some new soft tires on. And Transic, welcome. Hope you're having a fine evening here today. As I welcome everyone who isn't following the channel yet, I highly suggest you to do, as I possibly have a new sponsor, but that's still up for discussion with my sponsor. But yeah, it's looking great. It's looking like it's going the right direction. The guys asked for my Twitch channel, so hopefully they are going to be able to well, I mean, hopefully I'm going to be able to convince them. But yeah, as I said, right now I've got a little bit of a sore throat, so I'm probably not able to convince them right now. Well, Scott told me to just commentate anyways. Yeah, my apologies if I'm like annoying you at the moment. Aces versus Kings comes across the line. The Aston Martin driver put a 115.9. Not a great lap if you look at P1 at the moment with a 114.9. This is a fast server. Yeah, they are actually pretty fast. I mean, are you looking to race in Transic? I know they're racing on Friday. But if you're looking for a Monday league, I've got 4 more upcoming. I've got the Rainers Racing League. I've got this league. I've got... let me think. It's also an American league, but you probably are nothing with that because they're racing at 2 in the night. So I've got IFR. I've got Rush Racing, but these guys are... I mean, I haven't seen them race yet. This is the first time I'm racing for them, but they seem pretty fast looking at the qualifying times. But this is only cockpit mode, so cockpit cam mode. So everyone is racing in cockpit mode at the moment. So I'm not 100% sure if this is something for you and Transic. If you're looking to race, of course. I mean, I know you're racing in a not cockpit mode. So Cialda. On the soft tires, he is able to get a P1 here today. I know he is Italian, so he's got to prove something to the other guys here in the lobby. Because, I mean, if I were to race on Spa-Francorchamps, I would be practicing so much that I would just humiliate everyone on track. And that seems... Well, it seems like Cialda is able to do that right now, so... Yeah, the Ferrari driver really putting a good time on the board. 114.7, as he's only a couple of hundreds in front of CBA, who just came across the line. That means that TF Mar is going to be dropped back all the way to P3. It was looking great for the Red Bull driver. He's in the pits right now, so he has enough time to come out again, put in an out lap, put in a fast lap, and then put in an in lap. So, I mean, I think he even is able to put 2 fast laps. But of course, it's not ideal to be on the same soft tires twice for a fast lap. Let's go back all the way to P7. The no Sibo, as he's got the Ferrari driver right ahead. And I know that the AlphaTauri driver is on a fast lap. Is the Ferrari driver going to back out? It doesn't look like it. He's swerving all over the track. Maybe he was fighting his car coming into turn 12, but definitely also after coming out of turn 12. Yeah. I know what you mean, Antronzik. I mean, I've never been a real fan of cockpit mode myself, because you're not really able to see what's happening on track, but I do think that usually cockpit mode is more for wheel drivers. I know you're racing on a controller, and it's more real if you're in cockpit mode when you're on a wheel. Well, of course, you're not going to be wanting to have it real if you're on a controller, because, well, you're racing with a controller, if that makes sense. Nah, I'm a wheel. You're not a wheel player, Antronzik. You're a controller player. Don't trick me. Don't trick me. Don't you dare to trick me. You know Sibo though right now in P7 as he's looked to put a good lap on the board here as he's entering turn 12, turn 13 at the moment, and he might be looking to improve a little bit. He is indeed 1.5 tenths. That's gonna put him still in P7, but maybe if he's able to improve a little bit more here in Sector 3, he might be looking at a top 5 position, as it's only 1/10 of a difference between P6 and P5. Doesn't seem like he's pushing though. Is he going to be able to improve? Coming across the line to put a 1:15.9, 4.4 tenths of an improvement, and that's going to put him in P6. The no Sibo, and I'm not 100% sure if he's able to put another lap in. He's going very slow. He's going off track to give the Haas driver a little bit of space. And maybe we should drive with the Haas driver on board with Mr. Spoodley. Oh, serious, Intronsic. I didn't know that. I thought you were a controller player. Oh, you've been pretty fast then. I thought you were always a controller player, so. Nice. Is Spoodley gonna improve here today? P10 for the Haas driver, and I do know that a couple of guys want to be starting more at the back here. As I said, Imola gives a little bit of the same vibes as Monaco, especially into turn 1. But yeah, in Monaco you also want to be either at the front 3 or front 5, and at the back 5, well, the rear 5. Spudley is in the rear, well, in the bottom 5 right now. There's only going to be 14 people in the lobby, so he's in P10 right now, as he's going to come across the line to not improve, I'm afraid. 1.2 seconds slower now, trying to go for another lap, as there's only 2 more minutes in the qualifying at the moment. There's still a lot of people on an out lap, and might want to drive on board with one of the top guys, but since they're still on an out lap and we've got Spoodley overtaking them, we're going to be driving on board with Spoodley a little bit more here. And then we're going to switch over to another driver, maybe Martin, as he didn't leave too much room for the Haas driver right there, kind of parked his car on the racing line. And go Mickey. Who's Mickey? Where is he? Where's Mickey? Who is Mickey? Wait, oh wait, he's in P11. Yeah, because I've got a Mickey fan in the chat, I want to go to Mickey. He's improving by 5 tenths coming into Sector 3. He might be able to put a good time on the board right now. Is he going to improve 1 second? And that will put him in P5 at 1:15.6 for the AlphaTauri driver. And that's going to be a pretty good starting position here in Imola. I mean, As I said already, it's always chaos into turn 1, but P5 might just be outside the danger zone. Spoodley is going to be able to improve, but not by too much. A P11 is going to be the final answer for our Mr. Haas driver. Let's go with Martin right now. No, not with Martin. Cielda. Cielda is currently in P1. He's starting from the front row, well, the front position, as he's got the fastest first sector once again. 12 thousandths of an improvement for the Ferrari driver. He's got his teammate right ahead. Is he going to give him a little bit of a tow down the main straight? I really wonder. He should have given him a little bit of tow on the start-finish straight, but it doesn't seem like he was going to, and neither is he going to give a little bit of tow here today, coming out of turn 13. He's got the fastest second sector too. He's improving by 5 seconds. 5 seconds, that's quite a bit. 5 thousandths in sector 2. And it doesn't seem like this guy is making any mistakes here today in Imola, as he's coming around the last 2 corners here in the Emilia Romagna qualifying. And it is going to be a 114.6, 1.4 tenths of an improvement for Cialda. And what is Martin going to be able to do? Is he going to be able to beat this time, as he's now entering the last sector of the track, the last section, one of the most technical ones? I wouldn't say one of the most technical ones, but definitely one of the most difficult ones. Ooh, yeah, he validates his lap. He's not going to be able to improve. Was he improving, though? I do think he was improving. I'm not 100% sure with how much. The only driver who is still on track right now is going to be Scott. He improves by 4 tenths, but not enough to put himself in the top 10. He's only 6 hundredths away from Spoodley, and he's 1.3 tenths away from Eisenberg. So that was going to be your qualifying here today for the Elite Sim Racing League. So we're going straight into the 50% race. I'm going to have a quick look on my phone to see the reactions from everyone, although nobody is giving reactions. Yeah, I do have to say there's a lot of spread between everyone. I mean, we've got a 114.6 in P1, and then we've got a 117.8 at the back of the grid. That's 3.2 seconds. Thanks, CBA. Appreciate it. You're a P2. That's pretty great, in my opinion. I mean, my prediction of today. Who did I put in my prediction? Oh, my days. Why am I so bad at this? I'm so bad at forgetting. But I do think we will be seeing a 4-way battle at the front, and then a 5 to 6-way battle at the middle somewhere, and then at the back they're going to be battling too. Because see how see how many, like, there's not many difference here. P11 and P12, a couple of hundreds. We've got P3 and P4. You suck here. I mean, you suck here, and you got a P2. That is some that is some bold statement. That is a bold statement. Formation Lab is going to be back on, as the guys at the EA office have fixed this problem, have fixed this issue. And to be honest, I really wonder with how many people they were working at EA, because we've got so many issues in this game, and yet they're only able to resolve about 2 every patch. And how many times is there in between 2 patches? Like 2 weeks or something? These guys are just so lazy. They're only coming to work on a Monday morning, and the rest they're free. They're not doing anything. My top 3 finishers. I have no idea what I said with the predictions, but I'm gonna be saying CL9 P1. Oh yeah, I know that I was putting bar 10 in P2, in P3, but I can't quite remember who's P2 and P1. So I'm just going with Cialda P1 and CBA in P2, because they're looking very fast. Although Solo Godzilla is an Italian driver, he's racing in the Ferrari car, and I do have to say, usually these Ferraris on their home tracks are really, really not aggressive, but they feel the need to win in their home Grand Prix, like I would in Spa-Francorchamps, of course, now. let's have a quick look with the strategies. Ah, there we go, Tuti. I see you are bullish. Uh, I'm not able to see the flag, unfortunately, but it's good to see different nationalities in the chat and in the racing league, because usually in a lot of leagues we've got about 70 to 80% British people. I think it's not the case here because I've seen the Turkish guy. There's two Italian guys. There, it seems like there is Mickey who is Polish. We've got Martin who is oh 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. Oh yeah, 10. Martin. Okay, Martin is German. So we've got 5 people who are not British. So that's more than about, well, let's say 15, 33%. Yeah, that's looking great. But tire-wise, we're looking at medium tires for the top two. And then we've got Martin in P3 on the hards. The rest is on mediums, except for the bottom three. Scott in P12 on the hards. We've got DC. Oh my days, these names, guys. Just gonna call him DC. DC on the soft tires, and then we've got Vance Racing on the medium tires. It's good to see these guys at the back use different strategies, because they shouldn't be fighting with each other at all if they want to get a chance at the podium. Miki, your Polish friend, is in P5 at the moment. And I do know out of experience that usually in Imola the scenery is a little bit bad, so I'm going to try to go into broadcast mode, but if it fucks up a little bit, I have to go to cockpit mode. So we've got 5 red lights here in Imola, as the guys hopefully are going to have a clean start into turn 1. 5 red lights. And away we go. Who has a decent start? As I said, this is shitty scenery. I'm not able to see who got a decent start. The Ferrari driver took 1 position already from the Red Bull driver, as Martin now down the inside. Who's going to come out in the top 3? It seems like that's going to be Solo Godzilla. There's a little bit of carnage. The McLaren driver gets pushed out. CBA drops back all the way to the back of the grid. And that is going to be 2 Italians in P1 and P2. There is a virtual safety car, it seems like. Although, is it just the yellow flag? It is just the yellow flag. And the pit stop strategy here, due to Pirelli, is a medium hard or soft medium hard. Martin got in the top 3. Godzilla in P2 and Cialda right now in P1. What is Godzilla going to be able to do? Is he going to be able to hold back everyone to give Cialda a little bit of space? I mean, 1.9 seconds created already thanks to his teammates. So we might be seeing a big gap created between those 2 Ferraris. And right now, no Sibo is having a good start. It seems like he overtook his teammate, the Turkish drivers, right on the tail of Aces versus Kings. And yeah, it seems like everyone got quite clean through those corners, except for, yeah, CBA. He's got a comeback race to make. Cialda right now with a 120.3. I do expect someone to beat that lap, or maybe himself. Let's get back to the front. Martin now down the inside into turn 1. He makes this move look so fucking easy, and Solo Godzilla, he's right on the tail of the Red Bull driver, although he's not going to have enough pace to make a move into turn 4 or turn 5. Maybe with a good run coming out of turn 5, he might be able to throw it down the inside, but he's not going to take a look. So that means he's not looking to make a move anytime soon. And Aces versus Kings has got 2 AlphaTauri drivers right on his tail. Is it looking like he's going to get overtaken? He's looking to make a comeback race, though. I mean, not really a comeback race, but he make up for the time he's lost on the Ferrari driver and the Red Bull driver already. 2.3 seconds in between P1 and P2. Seb, no, it's gonna be the other McLaren driver. Oh my days, where's McLaren in the championship? They're currently P4, but it doesn't look like they're going to be scoring any points here today in Imola. As let's get back to the front. Yeah, this timing is glitched again. Stupid game. I'm not able to see who is close to each other. What is this bullshit? Cialda, as I said, he was going to be beating his own lap. Although Martin on the hard tires of 118.0. This is a crazy time, as he's that means that he's really improving. Now Neo, Nocibo around the outside, and there's a little bit of contact, and he gets pushed onto the sand. And now Mickey is going to be able to make that overtake on his teammate around the outside into turn 3. Now entering turn 4, and Nocebo is going to be looking for revenge. Martin on the grass as he's losing positions rather rapid. He's going to be dropped back all the way behind the Haas driver in P10, although he's side by side into turn 6. But the medium tire runner will have better traction coming out of that corner. Imola turn 1, best corner. Yeah, it's always chaos into turn 1. Martin now trying to make a move down the inside into turn 12. This is chaos. This is chaos. But they're going side by side. The Red Bull driver gets pushed wide a little bit as they're still side by side. He might get a little bit of warning there because he went a little bit wide, but he couldn't do anything because he got pushed wide, of course. And now it's still going to be a heated battle. And the more contact you're going to have, the more heated it's going to get. Because, I mean, imagine you battling with someone and you're side by side and you're having contact all the time. You're going to be battling even heavier. And right now, Martin on the tail of Spudley. And he does have the DRS already. We're already entering lap 4. And is he going to be able to make this move? Spudley seems like he has some good straight line speed here. Down the main straight, the Nocebo gets his position back. Scott drops back all the way to P13. He crashed out in turn 3. And now it's going to be the Red Bull driver trying to make a move on Seb Mealy. And Spudley did overtake the Williams driver. It's going to be a three-way battle for P80 here at the moment. Thank you very much, Dream, whatever it is. Yeah, I mean, sometimes. It's not always that I like to be cocky, but sometimes, you know. But Martin, he was looking at a P1 position, and he now makes the move down the inside. The Williams driver had a bad exit coming out of turn 13. They're now going side by side. But the Red Bull driver now takes P8, and he can continue his revenge on Spudley. Sometimes I've got to disable my microphone because, oh my days, my throat is hurting even more. The more I talk, the more excited I get, the more damage it does to my throat. Now CBA has the inside line. Yeah, I know, Raikkonen, don't worry, I knew it was you. You were the only guy. Well, you're the only guy I told I was cocky, so. Oh, CBA loses it again into turn 1, and oh no, CBA, this is really a nightmare of a race for the McLaren driver. He put himself in P2 in the qualifying, but right now lost his car 2 times already into turn 1, and this is chaos for the McLaren driver. He's not looking to race here ever again if it continues like this. It seems like Martin got past Spudley. That might have been with a little bit of contact as Sepp Mail also overtook the Haas driver. And yeah, as I said, the more contact there's going to be, the more aggressive it's going to get. Yeah, it's. I mean, it's usually with league racing, when you're having heated battles, you're going to be battling very aggressively. And usually that's where the league standards tend to drop down a little bit. Because right now I know Martin is a little bit furious of what happened during those first few laps as he now makes the move down the inside. Looks rather easy with the use of DRS, and into turn 1 he's looking to make that comeback race because he crashed out during lap 3 or 4, I think it was, caught with a 5-second time penalty, speeding in the pit lane. As the Aston Martin driver on hard tires. Quite interesting that he goes for a pit stop this early in the race. There's only going to be 32 laps here in Imola, and we are seeing a Williams driver in the wall there. We're seeing a Williams driver in the wall, and I'm getting flashbacks from my Phoenix Racing League race where I said, Williams in the mall, Williams in the mall instead of the wall, and then I made a little TikTok about racing drivers being in the mall or something like that. I can't quite remember, but CBA now makes his overtake on the Williams driver. And I'm not 100% sure how hard it is for drivers to race in cockpit mode. You know, they're focusing on the track, but they're not really able to see their surroundings. And that might be causing the more aggressive driving here. today, where we saw Martin, Squidley, and maybe Seb Mail have a little bit of contact. But right now, Miki right on the tail of Nocebo. He's going to have the DRS, though. There's a 3.5-second gap between Godzilla and his teammate already, and it's looking like an Italian podium, an Italian P1 and P2. As Jacko Lyko now made the move on Vans Racing. These guys are so close to each other, and it's looking like a McLaren-Williams battle for points here today, as both the McLaren team and the Williams team are not looking at great results here. And unfortunately, I mean, the Williams team is all the way in P5. Actually, they're battling with each other for P4 in the championship. So this could be a final factor. And I'm not too underwall. Jacko Lyko loses it. We saw it happen already a couple of laps ago, where the McLaren team is a little bit shaky around the corners, and now CBA makes that overtake on his teammate. Vans Racing has a gap of about 3.5 seconds, and will CBA be able to get that gap back? There's a three-way battle going on for P3 at the moment. The Nocebo. Oh, he already had a penalty. It was Jacko Lyko who got a penalty right now. But Nocebo, he has a 3-second time penalty, and he's looking to make a move on Aces versus Kings. And I think it would be a little bit smart. And oh, the McLaren driver. No, it's the AlphaTauri driver who loses his car, Miki Munzi. And he cannot reset back on track. Where's the Polish guy in the chat? He's going to be swearing in Polish, I imagine. Yeah, Miki drops back all the way to P8. Maybe even to P9, as Vans Racing right now is coming around the corner like a raging bull, trying to get this P8 on the board. I know there is a kurva. Yeah, I know. I was gonna say that. I know one Polish swear word, and it's kurva. I know I was gonna say it, and you said it in the chat. Oh no, there's another McLaren driver who crashes out, and he doesn't have a front wing anymore. Ah, Jacko Lyko. What a depressing night it is for him. As caught him. Seb Mail are having a heated battle, it seems like, but Eisenberg is right on the tail of the Alpine driver too, so we don't want to miss too much of that, of course. And you guys might know it already, Alfa Romeo is my favorite team, because here at home we already only have Alfa Romeo cars. So I'm kind of biased, but, you know, isn't everyone? Actually, like a couple of days ago, I was playing MLB, right? The game, you guys might know MLB. It's a baseball game, and I was playing MLB, and I was really wondering, how does someone decide their favorite team? CBA now down the inside. Eisenberg also down the inside. It's a two-way battle here for P6 and a two-way battle for P9. And both drivers who had the DRS take that position from the guy ahead. Eisenberg in the wall. Oh no, and Godzilla just got a 3-second time penalty. What a depressing night for everyone. Jack Olako retired from the session. He retired in the pit lane. But as I was saying, how does anyone decide their favorite team? Because usually, right? If you're a football fan or a basketball fan, you usually support for the team that is in your hometown. But Mercedes, how many British fans are fan of the Mercedes team? And not even because of Hamilton or like the other guy, what's his name again? George Russell, but I don't know, bro. It's just so interesting every now and then how people choose their teams. I'm a big Angels fan. If you guys want to know of MLB teams, I'm a big Angels fan, but fortunately they're not performing very well. The Red Bull driver now makes a move into turn 1 with the use of DRS, and the move has been done before the turn was there. CBA with his comeback race in P6 at the moment and racing. No, it's going to be DC coming into the pits on these soft tires. How many positions did he gain? Did he have any benefit out of those soft tires? It does look like it. He gained about 5 positions. He's going to lose 3 again, including one to Miki Munzi. But that still leaves him with 2 positions gained, and he's possibly going on the hard tires, and he won't have to come into the pits anymore. He's going for medium tires. And Tronzik, don't say that. Mercedes is a German team, all right? Mercedes is originally from Germany. Red Bull is an English team. Isn't Red Bull origin? Wait, is Red Bull Austrian or is it? No, it's not Austrian. Where is Red Bull actually made? I have no idea. But yeah, I mean, the Mercedes team is filled with British people. All right, they should bring Nico Rosberg in again. Aces versus Kings is swerving coming out of that last turn. Did he have good traction? It doesn't look like it. Aces versus Kings is now getting overtaken down the inside. Martin, redemption time for the Red Bull driver as he retakes P3. And even on hard tires, so still Entronsic, it's not an English team. It's not an English team. Look it up. Look it up. Look it up. Basically every team, every F1 team is getting their powertrains built in England. Like there's only one or two teams who don't have their facilities in England, and that is Alfa Romeo and Ferrari. Oh, and maybe AlphaTauri. It's all the Italian teams. All the other guys have their powertrain and their things, and they build their cars in England. It's pretty depressing if you think about it. Yeah, I know. That's the unfortunate thing about it. I don't know why, but yeah, every racing team is just built in England except for the Italian ones. So that shows how the Italians are really keen on their nationality. You know, the Austrians, they don't fucking care that they're Austrian. The Belgians, they don't fucking care they're Belgian. If it's cheaper in the UK, why not do it in the UK? But the Italians are really like, Mamma mia, I want it in Italy. And then they're just gonna build pizzas while they're building the car and whatever. They're just gonna eat pizzas and drink. What do Italians drink? Prosecco? I think they're drinking Prosecco. While building the car, they don't fucking care about the English. Except home track. What do you mean, Tootie? Home track of the Ferrari team is Imola, isn't it? I'm pretty sure it is Imola. Cialda and Solo Godzilla. Ha! They're both Italian. They're currently in P1 and P2, and that shows how really keen they are on winning this race. And you know, Scott, the league owner, told me that Cialda was going to be looking to get a race win here today, but he was asking me. I'm not 100% sure if anyone is going to be able to beat Martin. And he is on hard tires, so he still kind of has the benefit here. There is indeed a virtual safety car, but oh, no. There is no virtual safety car song. It's only when there is a safety car. When there is a full safety car, I'm going to sing the safety car song for you guys. Yeah, of course. The Austrian team, Red Bull, does have their home track in Austria. It's the Red Bull Ring. Such a beautiful track. And I know nobody asked for my opinion here, but if I have to give my top 3 in tracks, I've got to put Spa-Francorchamps in P1. Because I've asked so many racing drivers, what is your favorite track? And so many people say Spa-Francorchamps, and still the FIA doesn't want to continue their contract with Spa-Francorchamps. It's so depressing. It's such a beautiful track in the woods, in the middle of the woods, and the racing is just so nice. It's the longest track on the calendar with 7.0 kilometers. Oh, the racing is so beautiful there. But yeah, it's politics, and whichever country has the most money. Well, Belgium definitely doesn't, as we're poor fuckers. But yeah, reminds me of racing in 1940. They didn't even race in 1940. FIA was built in well, Formula One was established in 1950. And there were only about 3 or 4 tracks back in the day. I think it was Monaco, Silverstone, Monza, Belgium. It might have been Hockenheim, but I'm not 100% sure. But there were a couple of tracks though, and yeah, I'm just talking shit right now because nobody is within 1 second, so we're not going to be seeing a move. Maybe Mickey Munzi on the tail of Squidly, and safety issues, unfortunately, for Spa. You know what the thing is with safety issues for Spa? That is the biggest bullshit I've ever seen. Just let, just, just, how do you say that? You know, when there is fucking rain on the track, you don't have to let people race because that's just fucking stupid. Like we saw in F2 or F3 or wherever that Dutch guy died. Well, I mean, whenever, not wherever, because that was in Spa, of course. But there's just so many people dying on Spa-Francorchamps, but it's not because of like safety issues. It's just because those idiots of the FIA decide to race when it's fucking pouring down. I don't know, 20,000 liters of water. That's just stupid from the FIA. And that's why everyone says Spa-Francorchamps is dangerous, but like the racing itself, I have never seen a dangerous incident due to battling with each other. I mean, that makes me so frustrated. You know, they just have to cancel the Grand Prix or whatever. Not really cancel, but just delayed by a fucking couple of hours. Or don't race in the fucking summer, because it's always bad weather in the summer here in Belgium. It's raining once again here. And yeah, that really makes me frustrated. 3-second time penalty right now for both the Aston Martin drivers. That was quite interesting. We saw Aces versus Kings having a 3-second time penalty. So did Scott and their teammates. So that's quite funny. If I have to continue my list, I would say that Spa-Francorchamps is in P1. And honestly, I love racing on Brazil. The track is just so smooth and nice. So I would say Brazil in P2. And to watch races on, I think Silverstone is always a beautiful track. Austria too. As now Aces versus Kings comes into the pits. He's going to be the first medium tire runner coming into the pits. Although we saw a couple of guys, but that was mainly due to front wing damage or something like that. So Aces versus King is going to be the first guy in the top 5 coming into the pits. And it seems like someone else is. The Nocebo. The AlphaTauri driver is looking to make an undercut work. Are they going to be overtaken by the Williams driver and the McLaren driver? BCA? CBA? Is he going to be making a move? Bring Sochi back. That is a bold statement. CBA did make that move on Nocebo. He did make that move on Nocebo. And hopefully we're going to be having some heated battles right now, because it has been a little bit boring these last couple of laps because nobody was within 1 second of each other. But now the Nocebo right on the tail of CBA. And honestly, in Transic, Sochi was a pretty amazing track. I just find it sad that politics come into play here. Whitley also makes that move on the Williams driver. Didn't know these guys were battling with each other, but it does look like... Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, they're having a pit stop. I thought they just collided with each other or something. I saw them both drop position in Kiev street circuit. Maybe do it in Moscow with a couple of bombs in the back. CBA now on the tail. These last couple of corners are really crucial for the McLaren driver right on the tail. Is he going to be able to make this move down the main straight? He's going to have DRS. He's going to have ERS. And that's the most easiest move I've ever seen. Yeah, it's move done. I mean, nothing you can say about that. The McLaren driver did have the DRS quite early during the straight, and he was quite close coming out of turn 18. And yeah, look at that. He gets P4 again on the board, although Aces versus Kings did have pressure hard tires, so he might benefit from that later during the race, as there's still 15 more laps to go. But it seems like CBA did get the fastest first sector, so we might be looking at the fastest lap attempt here from the McLaren driver. entering Sector 3. And in my opinion, this little chicane coming up next is one of the most difficult chicanes. I still have no idea how to take this. Do you take the curb on the inside or not? Because if you take the curb, you're going to be spinning all over the place. And that's just so depressing for some reason. Martin comes into the pits. Is he going to get overtaken by Godzilla? It does appear to look like it. And CBA, he won't be able to overtake the Red Bull driver, but he might get a little bit closer. Is he going to have the fastest lap? Doesn't look like it. What actually is the fastest lap here? And the fastest lap is a 1:18.0. As I do think that CBA set a pretty fast lap, 1:18.2 possibly. But he still has to improve by about 2/10 to be able to get that position. Well, that fastest lap point. Snooping away from Mr. Red Bull MP3. And I had an issue yesterday with my voice. No, with my sound. There was some kind of thing at the background that was like crisping or something, if that makes sense. And would you guys care to let me know if that is still the case? Because I have no idea how to resolve that issue. And I kind of have to Google it. And Cialda now, he's really pushing a 1:18.0, only a couple of hundreds or maybe thousands from Martin's time. This is looking very great. Although Aces versus Kings, he's still getting chased from behind. Aces, no, from, wait, what am I saying? CBA is still getting chased from behind as the Aston Martin driver is looking to make a move. Anytime soon, he's not going to have the DRS though. But yeah, I mean, you know, coming back to that track thing, I really wonder why they are expanding the amount of tracks on the calendar. I mean, people like, well, people don't like the Las Vegas Grand Prix because it looks like a big upside down. That's one of the reasons. Yeah, I don't really like the Las Vegas track. It kind of looks interesting to me, but still, I mean, you know, can have a quick look how many viewers I've got. 3. That's not too bad. It's not a lot either, but you know, it is something. A lot of guys don't really care about watching a stream while racing. I know that my PGR league does. On Tuesday, I usually get about 15 to 20 people live, then a couple of guys afterwards. But a lot of league racers don't seem to care in other leagues about having a commentator on the background. Just think someone on the medium tires has put a fast lap on the board. Never look who that is. It is going to be Martin with a 1:17.7. I mean, I can't blame him. He's on those fresh medium tires. And he's got to make up for the mistake he has made during the early stages of this race. And that one extra point can maybe do him right, as he's currently in P1 in the championship. 52 points. P2 is CBA with 30 points. And Aces versus Kings is in P3 with 27 points. So Martin is once again gonna run away from these two, as they're currently P4 and P5 in the race. But Cialda is gonna get some good points on the board here for the Ferrari team. Ferrari is currently in P3. They might be going to P2 or even P1 after this race. And Godzilla is currently P4 in the championship, so we might be seeing a couple of positions of a gain for Mr. Godzilla, as we've got once again another fastest lap for the Red Bull driver. Or was it the Aston Martin driver? I think it was the Red Bull driver. Martin now in P3. So we're driving on board with Mr. Cialda. He's possibly going to be your race winner here today on the Imola Grand Prix. Gonna have a quick sip of water. By the way, if you're watching this stream and you don't know what to do, just click on the follow button, as that's very much appreciated. Trying to get to 500 followers as soon as possible, but yeah, it's not happening very smoothly, I'm afraid. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I mean, I'm trying to get a good stream on the board for you guys, but yeah. Ah, thank you, Tuti. Appreciate it. But don't be that guy to unfollow me again next week. That would be very frustrating. Frustrating, sorry. Oh, my English is so bad today, but I've got to concentrate on my voice because for some reason it sounds so shit, and I'm trying to make it sound a little bit better. But yeah. Cialda is going to be lapping the Haas driver already. How fast is fucking Cialda here on this track? Ah, thanks, Duty. Appreciate it. You can just disable the notifications. That way you won't be getting any notifications when I go live. Of course, it's better to have them on because, I mean, I'm an amazing streamer and I stream daily. If you have the need to watch any F1 races, you can just hop into the stream, have a little bit of a conversation with me. As Martin managed to get a little bit closer to Godzilla, the Red Bull driver, is he going to be able to get one more position on the board? I don't think he's going to be able to gain 9 seconds in 10 laps. Although you never know. You never know. Yesterday we saw someone on the hards get overtaken by someone on the soft in 2 laps, and there was a 9-second gap, so that is pretty crazy. Now Martin around the outside, the Red Bull driver, they're going side by side into turn 1. Who's going to back out? It seems like no one is, and there was almost contact between the Ferrari driver and the Red Bull driver right there, and Godzilla loses a position. He had that penalty anyway, so it's not a big loss for the Ferrari driver. And it seems like Martin has the fastest first sector due to that DRS he got from the Ferrari driver. Although he had a little bit of an interesting line through turn 1 because there is a Ferrari down the inside, but he probably gained more time due to the DRS than he lost time battling in turn 1. And now he's just gotta get back to Cialda. He is 8.1 second behind. I'm gonna have a quick look how many time he gains here in sector 1, or maybe next lap, to be able to analyze whether he's gonna be able to get back to the Italian driver in P1. But I don't think he's going to. He got about a couple of tenths in sector 1, but I think Cialda is pushing too. He knows that the Red Bull driver is coming for his position. They're entering lap 24 right now with Cialda in P1, Martin in P2, and Godzilla in P3. Further, we've got CBA in P4. He got a pretty good comeback race, although he's 17 seconds behind the top 3 right now. So P4 is possibly the best position he's going to get. I have no idea if some guys drive with a controller, but what I was saying is that it's more difficult for controller drivers to drive in cockpit mode than it is for wheel drivers, and it doesn't feel very realistic to drive in cockpit mode when you're on a controller, because of course, I mean, you're just racing with your thumbs, right? You're not racing with your hands or your arms or your legs. So yeah, I have no idea if anyone is racing on a controller in this league. Possibly in the other divisions, but it wouldn't sound very realistic if I told you guys that someone in this grid must be racing with a controller. Yeah, I mean, you know, controller is just, in my opinion, it's boring. I used to be a league racer myself, and there are a lot of controller players out there. I know there are. I had a league myself. It was called Divergent Racing League. I'm not promoting anything because the league doesn't exist anymore, so don't worry, league owners. I had a league myself. It was called Divergent Racing League, and there were more controller players than there were wheel players. And that just got me so frustrated because I feel like controller players, they are a little bit dirtier than the wheel players, because usually with a wheel, you've got more control over your car and all that kind of stuff. With a controller, you don't really feel like what you're doing. You know, oh, Godzilla gets another penalty. But CBA is just losing time. He's 19.6 seconds behind right now. So Godzilla is not going to be in danger. Martin got about 1 second in 2 laps. It's not looking great for him. He's going to be happy with a P2. Maybe if Cialda gets 2 more penalties, but that would be very unrealistic. That would be very unrealistic. Are you a racing driver yourself, Duty? In the chat? Make sure to let me know. I mean, R10. What a comeback race he had. He came all the way from the back of the grid after a crash into the first couple of laps, and then I mean, he did such an amazing performance of getting back into that P2 position right now. I gotta be honest, I respect the hustle. So with CBA, I do have to say there was a big difference in qualifying times between the top 4 and the bottom 6, 7. The last guy compared to the first guy was 3.2 seconds of a difference in 1 lap. So if you think about it, it's easy to overtake someone in that case because, 3 seconds a lap. We've got 32 laps. That's about 66 seconds. That's 1 complete lap around this track. And usually the guys at the front of the grid are a little bit more consistent, so they're even going to be gaining more time. So the guys at the back, they have been lapped already. Yeah, in that case, it would be a little bit easier for Martin to gain those positions again than it is with a competitive grid. I mean, I'm not calling this grid non-competitive, but there is a big gap of pace. Duty, how many leagues do you race in? Are you any good? Why are you actually not racing here in ESRL? Because these guys are pretty clean, I do have to say. I mean, we saw a little bit of chaos between Martin and Sputley, but apart from that, I do have to say everyone gives each other a lot of space and all that kind of stuff. So, congrats to these guys. We haven't seen too much battles, but maybe that's something to come. Imola isn't really a track where you are able to make a lot of moves work. I mean, turn 1 is a good overtaking opportunity. Turn 4 is a possible overtaking opportunity, and then you've got turn 6. And that's about it here in Imola. I mean, you can't really make a move into that chicane in Sector 3. You can't make a move into turn 11, although we did see Martin and someone else go side by side through turn 11, 12, and 13, and they did have contact, so it's not suggested to go side by side through there. Yeah, I mean, Imola, it's always a good track to race on, but not an interesting track to commentate on. And I've experienced this before. And we did have Monza last week, but apparently I was scheduled for this week, but I did say to the guy I was going to be streaming previous week, but I mean, it was going to be short qualifying anyway today, so I'd rather do a short qualifying than a full qualifying. Welcome, Shuki. How did your meeting go? Was it a bit interesting? Yeah, Tootie, why shouldn't you join here? I mean, you're wasting your time in the chat anyway, so you would have been better racing here instead of chatting with me. Still in the meeting. Why are you watching my stream then? Isn't the meeting very interesting? I know. I'm a little bit more interesting than the meeting. I've got more important stuff to say than the meeting. Still in the meeting. That's... Oh, Tootie, by the way, she's my girlfriend, so... Sometimes she supports me, sometimes she doesn't. Yesterday she didn't when I really needed her, but today I do need her because, I mean, usually with a race where there's not a lot of things happening. AC, oh yeah, Assetto Corsa. I respect that. Do you have the game though? You probably have, right? Yeah, I don't know what to say. I don't like F1 racing anymore. And I don't have any other games, so I'm not able to really test out the other games, but I don't like F1 racing. There's just so many, so big of a chance that you DNF just out of nothing. Like you have a little bit of contact with someone, you're getting put into the wall, DNF. Your whole race is ruined. You did a full qualifying, or you did a short qualifying. Let's say a full qualifying, 1 hour of your time is fucking wasted. If you did a short qualifying, that's alright. Yeah, so compete with friends sound like a nice idea. Yeah, it really does. It really does. Martin right now in P2, he's not gonna get there, but I do have to respect the hustle. Currently in P2, 3.8 seconds behind. He gained about 4 seconds these last 4 laps, but it's not gonna be enough, I'm afraid. And these medium tires, he's got he's got the Ferrari in his view. He's looking at the Ferrari butts right now, but he's just got to push so hard. There's still 2 more laps, well, complete laps. There's 2.5 laps right now as he's entering sector 3 at the moment, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Lost about a couple of hundreds entering sector 3. Might not have a good time here, and I really wonder if Cialda is also pushing. Gonna drive on board with Cialda real quick because we want to see whether he is taking those lines on the outside and the inside. Vance now makes the move on his teammate as both Williams drivers will not get points on the board. And remember when I said that the Williams team and the McLaren team were battling for points? Well, it seems like the McLaren team are going to be scoring some great points for the team here with a P4 from CBA. And the Williams team are going to be getting a sheet of paper with nothing on, as they will get 0 points. Although I'm not sure how the point system is in this league. It might be that everyone gets points. And in my opinion, that's a little bit better than nothing, but yeah. Yeah, I mean, there is this setting where you can have limited damage. Oh, Martin gets a 3-second time penalty. He was pushing too much. He just gained 1 second this last lap. He was just pushing too much. Yeah, now the P1 is out of the picture. He was right on the tail of the Ferrari driver. He can sniff him. Like, really sniff him. He can sniff the butt, but it's not going to be enough. 3-second time penalty. Maybe if Cialda makes a mistake, but on his home track, I don't see that happen. 1.5 seconds. That was pretty close, I do have to say, but he got a bad exit out of turn 3. And it's going to be Martin. Would it be too? I do have to say, good comeback race. Let's have a quick look at the rest of the grid. How many positions did they win or lose? We've got our biggest loser of the evening being Jacko Lacko. He lost about 8 positions. He's the only one who retired here in Imola. We've got Cialda, who didn't make up any positions as he started in P1. Martin made up 1 position. Actually, I do have to say he made up about 12 maybe, or 11. Because he came all the way at the back of the grid, from the back of the grid after lap 3 or 4. So we've got Godzilla. He had a pretty amazing race. Unfortunately, he does have a couple of penalties. CBA. He also made a good comeback race work, so he's going to be all the way in P4 at the moment. He lost 2 positions. It's not his track. He crashed twice. As your race winner, Cialda is now coming across the coming across the line, and Martin is going to crash out. We've got Godzilla in P3. CBA is going to be the fourth guy coming across the line, because he's 25 seconds behind Godzilla. Doesn't really matter. A couple of guys at the back of the grid have finished already. They got lapped, unfortunately, and they're not able to put that extra lap on the board. CBA coming across the line to put 16 seconds behind Godzilla. He did have a pretty amazing comeback race. I mean, he had so many incidents. I mean, not incidents, but he just crashed himself out. So I think it was twice into turn one. Taking that into account, I mean, he had a pretty amazing race. The Nocebo, kind of a incognito race today. And we've got Mickey Munzi somewhere in the middle of the grid. We've got 14 people racing. He came P7, so good results, good points. That's about 6 points if I'm not mistaken. P5 gets 10, Nocebo gets 8, Mickey Munzi gets 6. And the only driver who still has to come across the line is the Alfa Romeo driver. 4 points for Isenborg. This is going to be your Imola Grand Prix here in ESRL. We didn't see a lot of overtakes, unfortunately, as the grid is quite spread out. But TF Mar in P2, he's going to be your driver of the day. Let's have a look at the podium here. 2 Ferrari guys. The Italians will be proud of their home track. It's going to be the German guy in P2, Cialda in P1, Martin in P2, and Godzilla in P3. Fastest lap goes to Martin. Congratulations to you. And then we've got the rest of the grid. CBA in P4, Aces Kings in P5. Further, we've got Nocebo, Miki Munzi, Eisenborg. Oh, he's also Italian. Spudley, DC, Scott, Seb Mail, Vance Racing, and Jaco Lecco. You see, there's more Italian people in this lobby than there is British people. Although, no, actually not. You've got the Scottish, and then Seb Mail, who's also English. So we've got a couple of guys from England. Also Aces versus Kings. But the Italians are making making their way into league racing. That's quite funny. All right, guys, I'm gonna finish off the stream here today. I thank you very much for watching. It was quite of an interesting race, I gotta say. Not a lot of battles happened. Not a lot of things I could have commentated on, but still, it was pretty good quality of racing. So thank you very much for watching. I'm gonna finish off the stream here right now. We'll see you guys tomorrow in PGR. And yeah, this was Phoebe Thomas as your commentator, and hopefully I will see you guys another race, another week, another stream. And make sure if you're watching the stream to follow the channel. Thank you very much and appreciate it. Good night and peace out.